Good morning, class. Today we're going to be starting the process of really breaking down grammar and sentence structures. So we're going to be going really deeply into those sorts of things with grammar, sentence structures, and anything related to that for the next few weeks. And we're going to start out really simple, okay? So if you know some of this stuff already, that's totally fine. It just means you have an easy day today. But we are going to start off with looking at subjects and predicates and breaking the beginnings of breaking down sentences. To begin with, first off, we are going to memorize prepositions. We're going to memorize a whole list of them. And we're going to start with 7 today. And on Monday, I'm going to have a short little quiz for you to just list all 7. Okay? So there will be no question, it won't be multiple choice. You'll just list for me all 7 of the prepositions that we have to memorize, and then we'll add more onto that. Okay? So starting with the 7, it is about, above, across, after, against, along, and amid. Okay, so you're going to start with those 7 prepositions, and we'll talk more about prepositions later, but for right now, we're just going to memorize these words preferably in order because they're in alphabetical order, so that should help you. So yes, Monday, be ready to just list all 7, okay? Today we're going to be looking at subjects and predicates. Scene change. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be looking at subjects and predicates. So let's look at this sentence right here, which is backwards for you guys. Give me a second. Let's try this now, okay? The little mouse ran across the room. Okay, so normal sentence here. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide it into the subject and the predicate. Every sentence has a subject and a predicate. If it doesn't have a subject and a predicate, it's not a sentence. Okay, so let's talk about that subject. Okay, and I'm not talking about like subject being one word. I'm talking about the full subject. The one-word subject is actually called the simple subject. Okay, so the subject section of a sentence usually ends with the simple subject, right? What's the simple subject? The simple subject is the noun or pronoun that does an action, right? She ran. She, who ran? She did, right? So she is the subject. She is the subject and the simple subject. So a subject includes that simple subject, the person or thing doing the action, and any of the words that come before it or that describe it. Okay, so let's look at this sentence here. The little mouse ran across the room. The little mouse ran across the room. Let me see if I pull this forward. You can see a little bit. Ow. No, you can see worse. Let me put it back. So, the little mouse ran across the room. So, that's better. So, the little mouse ran across the room. What's our subject? Who did the running? The mouse, right? So, the mouse is our simple subject, okay? The mouse is our simple subject. And what words come before and describe the mouse, right? The little. So, this section right here is our subject. This whole thing is our subject, okay? You have the simple subject of the mouse, and this whole thing is our subject, okay? The simple subject and anything that comes before or describes the simple subject. Now, the predicate. The predicate is the rest of the sentence, okay? So the predicate usually starts with the verb. What are verbs? We should know this, right? Verbs are any words that are action or state of being, right? She is. Is a state of being, so that's the verb. She ran. Ran is an action, so it's the verb. Obviously, we have ran here as our verb. And this section, the whole thing, is going to be the predicate. Okay? So you have the subject and the predicate. Every sentence has this, okay? And it's not always, the predicate does not always begin with the verb. Like if I said the little mouse quickly ran, is the little mouse quickly or did it run quickly? it ran quickly, right? So that quickly describes the verb. So quickly would be in the predicate side. But for the most part, the subject ends with the simple subject, and the predicate begins with the verb most of the time. Okay? Make sense? Sound good? What you're going to do is there is an assignment in Google Classroom. It is called Subject and Predicate, if I am not mistaken. And you are going to take some sentences and divide them kind of like what I just did here. Okay? You're going to divide them into the subject and the predicate. Okay? You just put a dash or something in between the subject and the predicate to show me that where you have divided that sentence. Okay? So go ahead and do that.